Missing one test once in a while wasn't that bad, but skipping 2 in a row wasn't good. Besides, the cemetery was only a 10-minute drive from her home. It simply wasn't worth risking a diabetic coma. Of course, Holly thought now, if she'd realized that coming back would mean having to make a trek through the graveyard, in her pajamas no less, she might have risked the coma. Grimacing, she bent and snatched up the papers. There was nothing for it. She would have to drop them off before heading home. Otherwise, the cremation wouldn't happen until tomorrow or the next day, which could be a problem depending on when his service was scheduled to take place. Clasping the papers firmly in one hand, Holly slung her purse over her shoulder with the other. But as she headed out of the office, she couldn't help thinking that life would be a lot easier if she were a little less conscientious. Being a responsible type person was really a pain in the ass at times, she thought as she stepped outside and dug her keys out of her pocket. The funeral home key was easy to find despite the dark night. It was on its own ring. It was also shiny and new, though that was hard to tell in this light. She'd only received it last Friday. It was now Monday. Why did a brand new and temporary employee have a key to the company? The answer to that was simple enough, because her co-workers weren't as conscientious and responsible as she was. During her first week there, Max hadn't shown up much before noon even once, and Sheila, the receptionist, who also happened to be Max's daughter, had been late 3 times. The apple really hadn't fallen far from the tree with those two. On Friday, after twiddling her thumbs in the funeral home parking lot for over an hour and a half for the 3rd morning that week, Holly had let some of her irritation show when Sheila finally arrived. She'd also suggested that perhaps she should start later in the day rather than waste her time and their money sitting in the parking lot waiting. Sheila had what she considered to be a better solution. She'd gone out and had a key made for her. Now Holly could get in on time. She'd like to believe that it was her conscientiousness and responsible nature that had led Sheila to give her the key, but knew the truth was it was pure laziness and convenience. So long as Holly had a key and could open the office on time, Sheila could be as late as she liked. The other woman had proven that today, when she hadn't shown up until lunchtime. And then it was with lunch for them both that Holly hadn't wanted, but had paid her back for her half anyway. Holly locked the door and turned to glance toward the crematorium, only to pause and frown when she couldn't see the building. It was the fog. It had made driving here something of a pain, but she'd forgotten about it while in the building. Now she found herself staring into the misty darkness surrounding her, and felt a little shiver of anxiety shimmy its way up her spine. She was in a graveyard on a dark and foggy moonless night. This was way too much like a scene from a horror movie. Any minute decomposing corpses would begin to claw their way out of the ground and drag themselves toward her, lured by the scent of fresh flesh. "Get a grip," Holly muttered to herself. The sound of her own voice in the night was a bit bracing, but not enough to make her move in the direction of the crematorium. Holly shuffled her slippered feet briefly, and then sighed and turned to unlock the door again. Perhaps there was an umbrella or something in the office that she could carry with her. Having a weapon, even a mostly useless one, might help boost her courage for the trek ahead. When a quick search of the offices didn't turn up an umbrella, a cane, or a flamethrower to fend off those imagined zombie corpses, Holly resorted to grabbing a large pair of scissors she spotted sticking out of the pencil holder on the reception desk. She hefted them briefly, considered their size, and then decided they would do. She probably wouldn't need anything anyway. She was just being a ninny, but felt better clutching the scissors as she headed back outside. Sadly, there had been no helpful gust of wind to sweep away the fog during the few minutes she'd been inside. If anything, it seemed to her that the fog had thickened, but that might have simply been her own anxiety making it seem that way. It had probably been just as thick earlier as it was now, she reassured herself and wished she had a flashlight. The thought made her glance toward the parking lot. She kept a flashlight in the glove compartment for emergencies. Holly hurried to her car, unlocked it, and settled in the passenger seat to open the glove compartment and make a quick search. Not finding it, she sat back with a sigh, then grabbed the papers and the scissors and got out. She left her purse inside. It would eliminate the possibility of accidentally leaving it behind in the crematorium, she thought as she locked the door. Trying not to think of movies like The Fog or Night of the Living Dead, Holly headed determinedly in the direction of the crematorium. She moved